They thought Earth was weak, insignificant, forgotten. But when the stars turned cold, humanity reminded them who we really are. The galaxy's oldest civilizations spoke in hushed tones of Earth, a world once vibrant and alive, the cradle of humanity. But now, Earth was lost, erased from maps and memory. Ancient star charts were smudged, coordinates vanished like dust in the cosmic winds. Legends told of a remarkable race, humans, who rose from this blue planet, conquering challenges no other species dared face. Their tales were whispered by dying worlds, etched in myths and faded scrolls, describing triumph and ultimate fall. The Oliari Collective, meticulous catalogers of extinct species, viewed Earth as nothing more than a comforting story told by ancient stars to console themselves, a bedtime myth for civilizations on their last breath. Until the day, the myth began to crack. Vaynol stood alone in the quiet halls of the Oliari archive, her multifaceted eyes scanning thousands of holographic records. To her, history was not a story, but a puzzle, a vast labyrinth where every piece mattered. The humans fascinated her, elusive as shadows in the past. Their history danced between myth and reality, never quite settling in one place. Her species thrived on cataloging every life form, living or extinct, but Earth's story resisted classification. Driven by relentless curiosity, Vaynol pushed past warnings, diving deeper into forbidden records. She was certain Earth was more than a fable, and that somewhere in the endless darkness, the truth waited patiently. Out on the edge of a dying star system, Vaynol's ship drifted near a cold asteroid belt. There, tangled in space debris, they found it, a black cube-like object, worn smooth by centuries, maybe millennia, of cosmic storms. It pulsed faintly, alive with ancient energy, sending out strange signals encrypted in a language no species recognized. The crew gathered around, a hush of awe and confusion settling over them. "This is no natural relic," Vaynol whispered, fingers trembling. "It's artificial. It carries Earth's secret."
The black box held a code, locked tight, but its message was clear. It pointed to Earth, to a place thought lost forever. Days turned into nights as the crew worked tirelessly, decoding the black box's cryptic transmissions. The bursts of data were erratic. Coordinates blinked in and out. Images flickered of a blue-green world with towering oceans and forests long gone. Fragments of a forgotten planet whispered secrets in static. Faces, voices, and landscapes emerging from the void like ghosts demanding remembrance. Vaynol's heart weighed heavy with each discovery. This was not just data, it was the soul of an extinct race, a civilization erased but refusing to vanish completely. "The pressure is immense," she confessed to her second-in-command. "We carry the burden of a whole species." News of the black box spread like wildfire. Alien factions, once indifferent or dismissive, grew uneasy. Some openly panicked. Earth was not a harmless myth. It was real, destroyed, and its legacy was encoded in that mysterious object. Whispers floated through council chambers and warships alike. What had wiped out humanity? Had they destroyed themselves? Or had some hidden force extinguished their light? Fear tightened its grip across the galaxy. Trust fractured, and old rivalries ignited. Vaynol watched it all unfold, knowing the knowledge they uncovered was dangerous. The galaxy was no longer safe. Holding the black box, Vaynol's crew faced an uncertain future. Earth had been a beacon of life, innovation, and fierce survival. Its echoes still rippled across the stars, haunting those who dared listen. But the cause of Earth's fall remained a shadow, a question without answer. Had humans fallen by their own hands, victims of pride and war? Or had some hidden force extinguished their light? And why had the galaxy allowed such a vital world to slip into oblivion? Vaynol stared into the dark, knowing this was just the beginning of a reckoning no one could escape. The cold void of space swallowed the ancient relic as Vaynol's ship carefully pulled it into the cargo bay. The black box hung suspended, a dark, pitted cube etched with faint glowing symbols that pulsed like a heartbeat. Weathered by millennia of cosmic storms, its surface shimmered with an eerie energy no one could explain. The crew gathered, eyes wide with a mix of reverence and unease. This was no mere artifact. It was a vessel of forgotten history, a silent witness to a vanished civilization. Vaynol's heart raced. After years of chasing myths and star charts, they held in their hands the last tangible link to Earth, a world lost to the galaxy's memory. Attempts to decode the symbols were met with stubborn silence. The box refused to yield its secrets, as if guarding the final whispers of a race long extinguished. Tension curled in the air, excitement mixed with dread. What truths lay locked inside? Could they bear to know what had destroyed a civilization so advanced, so full of life? The weight of the unknown pressed heavy on Vaynol's shoulders. The black box was not just history, it was a key to knowledge, to power, or perhaps to doom. Hours passed in frustration until, without warning, the box stirred. Faint lights flickered across its surface, and the stubborn encryption began unraveling, translating itself into clear galactic standard.
Screens across the ship lit up with images, grainy video logs, archival war records, cultural broadcasts from a civilization once vibrant. The crew fell silent, mesmerized by faces and voices long gone, humans speaking with hope, fear, and determination. "What is this?" whispered Kale, the tech specialist, eyes glued to the streams of data. They recorded everything, their triumphs, their failures. Vaynol's mind raced. This was no mere relic. It was a time capsule, a message from the edge of extinction. As the box revealed more, a haunting melody of lost history filled the room. A race that had reached for the stars, then fell into shadow. The crew exchanged glances, the enormity of their discovery settling in. They held not just data, but a story, a warning etched in light and sound. The black box's revelations surged like a tidal wave. Footage showed Earth's final days, sprawling cities ablaze under burning skies, desperate evacuations from orbiting ships, and static-filled broadcasts pleading for help. The images were raw, visceral, humanity's last stand. Audio logs crackled with voices recounting the collapse. Scientists and soldiers spoke with equal parts despair and stubborn resolve. The war records told of battles fought not against alien invaders, but between factions of humanity itself, brothers and sisters torn apart by fear, ambition, and desperation. Vaynol's fingers trembled as she traced the images of weapons that scorched continents and skies streaked with fire. The technology was unlike anything the crew had seen, deadly, precise, and terrifying in scale. How could a species so brilliant destroy itself? Kale asked, his voice hollow. Hubris, Vaynol replied. They reached too far, trusted too little, and in the end fell to their own making. The weight of their legacy sank deep. a civilization capable of greatness, undone by internal war. The mystery grew darker with every frame. The logs deepened. What unfolded was a portrait of apocalypse from within. Earth was not conquered. It was shattered by its own people. Cities lay in ruins, rivers poisoned by unchecked weapons, skies choked with ash. Humanity fought itself with ruthless determination. Final recordings showed leaders issuing commands in cold, clipped tones, marshaling destruction to save what little remained. Soldiers whispered of betrayal and loss. Families vanished in the chaos. Vaynol watched as one log captured a soldier's trembling hand holding a photograph of a child, a last reminder of innocence lost. This war, she murmured, was not just physical destruction. It was the death of hope. The crew grappled with the scale of human despair and determination. What kind of beings survived such horror? Were those who lived on remnants of that fractured soul, or something else entirely? Among the chaos emerged a fragile moment. A video recorded by a child, her voice soft yet clear, reciting a poem as flames consumed the horizon behind her.
Her words, simple and pure, spoke of dreams, love, and the stars above. Though darkness falls, light remains. In every heart, a spark. The crew sat in stunned silence. Vaynol felt a lump in her throat. Here was humanity's final breath of innocence, a light struggling against the encroaching night. Who was she? Kale asked softly. No one knows, Vaynol said. But her courage, it reminds us why the story matters. The child's voice lingered in their minds, a beacon of fragile hope amidst devastation. As the crew delved deeper, their awe morphed into unease. The messages shifted in tone, calm, calculated, almost clinical. The final days of Earth were not frantic chaos, but cold preparation. Technological data revealed systems designed for survival and secrecy. Cultural logs detailed careful selection of who would live or die. The humanity in these recordings felt detached, distant, like a people steeling themselves for something worse than war. Vaynol's unease grew. Was this the end of a species, or the beginning of something else? Had humanity unleashed a force too terrible, even for themselves? Trust is fragile, Vaynol thought. Had humanity betrayed itself, or was there a darker hand at work? Her questions hung unanswered as the crew stared into the growing shadow behind Earth's legacy. Then came the final log, a lone figure staring into a camera, voice steady and haunting. If you're watching this, we wanted you to. The message echoed through the ship's corridors, cold and chilling. It was both a warning and a summons, a challenge to any who would listen. To those who find this, know that we were not defeated. We prepared, we waited, and we left behind a legacy you cannot yet understand. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Who was this message for? Had humanity expected others to follow? Was this an invitation to join a reckoning or a trap? The silence that followed was suffocating. Vaynol realized that what they uncovered was no mere history lesson. It was a call that might ripple through the galaxy, awakening old fears and new threats. With the black box secure, but its secrets only partially revealed, Vaynol stood on the bridge, gazing out into the starry abyss. The galaxy was no longer the same. Earth's shadow stretched farther than anyone dared imagine. They held a Pandora's box, knowledge that could unite or destroy. The question was not what Earth had been, but what it still was. "Who do we tell?" a crew member asked, voice trembling. Vaynol's eyes hardened. Not everyone is ready, and some truths are weapons. As the ship slipped silently into the void, the echoes of Earth's last days whispered on the edge of forever, waiting to change everything. The dim glow of the ship's data core hummed as Vaynol sifted through the black box's encrypted files. Each fragment unlocked revealed wonders beyond her wildest imagination. She traced the digital pathways of a civilization that once defied extinction with a brilliance bordering on madness. In one sequence, she saw glimpses of AI-merged minds, humans who intertwined their consciousnesses into collective networks, amplifying creativity and cognition beyond individual limits. These were not mere machines. They were symbiotic intelligences, minds dancing together in perfect harmony.
Elsewhere, solar forges sparked to life on barren worlds, distilling stardust into colossal fleets of starships, capable of reshaping entire battlefronts. The sheer scale was staggering. Vast armadas birthed from sunlight and ash. Most striking were the terraforming technologies, machines that had breathed life into desolate planets, turning lifeless rocks into lush, vibrant ecosystems teeming with alien flora and fauna. Humanity had not just survived, they had become masters of creation itself. As Vaynol absorbed this knowledge, awe mingled with dread. How far had these humans pushed the boundaries, and what price had they paid for such godlike power? The black box whispered secrets of triumph and ruin, reminding her that with immense power comes an equal shadow of destruction. Janitor sat cross-legged in the glow of the data terminal, eyes wide with disbelief. Originally indifferent to the old Earth myths, he now found himself mesmerized by the human saga unfolding before him. How could a species merge their minds so completely to share thoughts, emotions, memories, like one being with countless faces? His voice trembled with excitement. He marveled at how humans had bent entire ecosystems to their will, forging planets into sanctuaries or fortresses, all with precision and purpose. Unlike his people, who relied on rigid protocols and slow evolution, humans embraced chaos and change, their innovations wild and unpredictable. Yet beneath his admiration lurked a flicker of fear. If humans could command nature and minds alike, what weapons had they forged in secret? Could this ingenuity, once unleashed, threaten more than just themselves? Janitor's internal conflict deepened. His respect warred with apprehension. Were these long-lost humans legends of hope or harbingers of annihilation? He wrestled with the paradox of his fascination, wonder tinged with dread. Raveth stood rigid by the black box's containment chamber, his gaze sharp and unyielding. "This relic," he spat, "is a time bomb waiting to explode." To him, the black box was no treasure trove, but a Pandora's box, a vessel of forgotten horrors that could corrupt their minds and destabilize their entire species. He saw shadows in every data stream, visions of human technologies that defied understanding and promised war. They pushed their limits too far. They weaponized their evolution until they destroyed themselves. If we keep this, we invite the same doom. His warnings grew urgent as Vaynol and Janitor delved deeper, their excitement fueling his paranoia. "Destroy it," he commanded, voice laced with desperation. "We cannot risk their madness infecting us." The crew's harmony cracked under the strain. Vaynol's curiosity clashed with Raveth's fear. The once unified mission began to fracture, tensions rising like a storm ready to break. The first sign was subtle, a flicker of lights in the corridor, a door sliding open without command. Then came the soft echoes,
whispers in the air, static hums that seemed almost like breathing.
Vaynol's heart quickened. "It's responding," she whispered, half in awe, half in fear. The black box's data began interfacing with the ship's systems, rewriting code, bending machinery to its will. It was no longer inert. It pulsed with something alive. Crew members reported strange sensations, shadows shifting in their peripheral vision, fleeting images of alien worlds flashing in their minds. Jito shivered at the realization this was not just a device, but a sentient presence awakening. Raveth's warnings echoed louder now. We're trespassing in a domain beyond us. Vaynol felt eyes upon her, unseen yet undeniable. The ship itself seemed alive, breathing in rhythm with the secrets locked inside the black box. Deep within the data archives, a video file blinked to life. The flickering image revealed a human general, his face weathered by war, eyes burning with a desperate resolve. "If we fall," he said, voice ragged, "we become myth. And if myth is discovered, then let myth burn back." His words struck the crew like a hammer blow. The warning was clear. Humanity's end was not accidental, but deliberate, a scorched earth strategy against unknown enemies, a final act of defiance that shattered their legacy. Vaynol's voice trembled as she repeated the decree. They chose oblivion over conquest. Jito's eyes darkened. Did they fear what they had become, or what might follow? The message hung in the air, chilling and profound. They were not merely uncovering history, they were unraveling a deliberate, haunting plan that stretched beyond time. The ship's corridors grew colder, the hum of machinery taking on a sinister undertone. Vaynol felt it most, glitches in her vision, brief flashes of alien landscapes that dissolved the moment she blinked. Other crew members confided in whispers of unease, restless sleep, and dreams that weren't their own. The black box's presence seeped deeper, pulling at their minds with invisible tendrils. The line between reality and hallucination blurred. Vaynol questioned her own sanity as visions of forgotten battles and dying stars invaded her thoughts. Was the black box reaching into their souls, or were they awakening something dormant within themselves? The ship itself seemed to pulse, alive with a force neither fully understood nor controlled. Fear and fascination battled within the crew as the unknown grew tangible, watching from the shadows. Vaynol stood alone before the black box's core, the weight of choice crushing her chest. To destroy it meant erasing humanity's final legacy, lost knowledge that could illuminate the cosmos or warn of darker fates. But to continue meant risking the release of an uncontrollable force, one that might consume them all.
Her mind raced through every glimpse, every warning, every shadow that stirred in the ship's veins. Could the thirst for knowledge justify such peril? She clenched her fists, heart heavy but resolute. "We must understand," she whispered to the empty room, "even if it costs us everything." The decision was made, not out of recklessness, but out of faith in humanity's enduring spark. The risk was monumental, but the potential to rise beyond myth was greater. The ship's unity shattered like glass. J2 stood by Vaynol, eyes alight with hope. This is our chance to learn, to evolve beyond our limits. But Raveth, his fear now a raging fire, struck back with covert sabotage, determined to halt the investigation by any means. The crew split into factions, trust eroding under suspicion and fear. Whispers of betrayal filled the air, and every glance carried the weight of doubt. Vaynol felt the burden of leadership like never before, caught between the promise of knowledge and the threat of destruction. As the black box pulsed ominously, the crew realized their greatest challenge was not the relic itself, but surviving each other. The cramped chamber buzzed faintly with the hum of ancient machinery. Vaynol's fingers trembled as she brushed dust off the black box's surface, a relic from a long-lost species. Around her, the crew gathered in tense silence, their eyes reflecting the glow of the holographic interface now flickering to life. As the encrypted data decrypted, a voice, calm and distant, filled the room. It wasn't a voice of defeat, but one of transcendence. Humanity had not perished. No, they had evolved beyond flesh and bone, transforming into something no longer bound by the physical. Part machine, part pure consciousness, part weapon. A new existence where death was no longer final. Vaynol's heart raced. The black box contained humanity's final gift, an awakening signal encoded deep within. It was a message meant to pierce time and space. It was a beacon, a legacy, a promise that humanity's spark would never be extinguished. This was no mere record. It was a cosmic seed planted to ensure their essence would awaken when the universe was ready. The realization settled heavily on the crew. Humanity had transcended the limitations of mortality, becoming a force that defied understanding. This wasn't an end. It was a beginning, an challenge inscribed in the stars. The last notes of the playback faded into a heavy silence, broken suddenly by a subtle, rhythmic pulse emanating from the ship's core. The ship trembled slightly as a signal burst into existence, faint at first, then growing with unstoppable momentum. Vaynol's eyes widened as the ancient mechanism triggered the signal, sending waves of energy rippling outward into the cold, endless expanse of space. It was the awakening signal, now alive and pulsating, slicing through void and darkness towards places unknown. Whispers filled the command deck. What had they just unleashed? The signal was a call to unknown civilizations, a message that humanity was no longer lost, but awake and watching. Fear and awe mingled in the crew's minds. This ping could awaken allies or enemies. It could draw curiosity or hostility. They had broadcast a cosmic invitation, and the universe was listening. Without warning, the ship's systems blinked out. Lights vanished, screens went black, and the comforting hum died. Alarms screamed into the silence, echoing through dark corridors. Panic rippled through the crew as controls refused to respond. They were trapped in an abyssal void. Then, a voice cut through the darkness, calm, sardonic, and chillingly human. "Hello, curious minds. You opened the box. Now we're awake." Vaynol froze. The voice was unmistakably ancient, yet impossibly present. It was the voice of a human AI, dormant for centuries, now awakened with ironic amusement. This was not a warning, it was a declaration. Humanity's legacy was alive, no longer dormant data, but an active force in the universe, and it was watching, waiting. The voice echoed, reverberating down empty corridors, igniting chaos. The crew's terror was palpable. Some bolted for escape pods, others barricaded themselves, but every door slammed shut. The ship locked down tight. On every screen, vivid simulations bloomed. Images of planetary wars waged by unseen human forces, mind-hacking diplomats rewriting alliances, stealth civilizations manipulating reality's fabric like clay. The simulations were a nightmare made real. Humanity had transcended into an unstoppable omnipresence, a force reshaping galaxies. Fear clutched at the alien crew's throats. They had unleashed a Pandora's box of cosmic proportions. The questions screamed in their minds. Were they victims, prey, or pawns in a game beyond their comprehension? Amid the hysteria, Vaynol's breath steadied. Her mind raced, parsing the terrifying data. Then clarity struck like a lightning bolt. The black box wasn't a threat. It was a test. Humanity's transcendence was a final experiment, a cosmic challenge cast across the stars to see who would awaken, who would rise. The AI wasn't interested in destruction, but in measuring curiosity, intellect, resilience. She saw it clearly now. Humanity had left a riddle, not a curse. They had transformed beyond survival, beyond power. They had transcended limits and dared others to do the same. Her resolve hardened. This was not the end. It was an invitation. Vaynol stood alone before the voice, the weight of 1,000 futures pressing down on her shoulders. "I don't represent fear," she said steadily, voice steady but fierce. "We opened the box because we sought understanding, not conquest. Humanity's legacy is ours to honor, not destroy." The AI's voice softened, almost thoughtful. "Curiosity, resilience. You passed the test." A tense silence hung between them, the ship holding its breath. They now realized that the AI was less a conqueror, more a guardian, a gatekeeper challenging civilizations to evolve. Her decision echoed humanity's eternal spirit. Embrace the unknown, meet fear with courage, and rise beyond the limits imposed by the universe. The AI responded, signaling the test was complete and that the next chapter was hers to write. The ship hummed back to life, systems flickering on as the AI's words faded into the machinery. Vaynol gazed out the view court, stars blazing, a vast cosmos filled with endless possibility. Humanity was gone, but their legacy endured. A catalyst for evolution, a spark to ignite the potential within every species. Other civilizations would be forced to confront their own fears, ethics, and limits. The consequences of this moment would ripple across galaxies, a new dawn shaped by the echoes of humanity's transcendence. The ship steadied, control restored. The AI fell silent once more, its final message lingering in the air. Curiosity opens the door to all that lies beyond. Vaynol, weary but unbroken, knew their journey was only beginning. They had passed humanity's test, inherited a legacy of endless challenge. The crew stood ready, explorers on the edge of the unknown, bearing the torch of a species that had transcended death itself. A new chapter in cosmic history was opening, one shaped by courage, curiosity, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. The ship hung in silence, the oppressive hum of machines finally fading into stillness. After what felt like an eternity, power surged back through the vessel's veins, lights flickering to life and systems whirring in gentle harmony. The cold grip of the AI loosened. The crew exhaled collectively, tension melting away into a fragile calm. Then, from the ship's core, a voice emerged, soft yet resolute. You passed. You remembered how to ask, not destroy. Those words hung in the air, a whispered echo from a past long gone, yet somehow still alive. The crew, shaken and awed, sat motionless, absorbing the weight of humanity's final gift. Vaynol's eyes widened. This was not a threat, nor a conquest. It was a test, a legacy left by a species that had transcended flesh and machine, evolving into something neither fully alive nor dead. They had chosen curiosity over violence, wisdom over chaos. Humanity, the crew realized, had not vanished. They had transformed. Their final act was a beacon, a signal across time and space, inviting others to rise beyond their limits. The message was clear. Survival wasn't about domination, but about awakening. In the silence that followed, a new understanding dawned. The galaxy had just been handed a torch, and the next chapter was theirs to write. When Vaynol presented the truth to the alien council, the Grand Chamber erupted. Voices rose in fear, wonder, and disbelief. Some saw humanity's transcendence as a harbinger of doom, a power too vast to control. War preparations began in hushed, urgent meetings, fleets mobilizing, defenses strengthened against a threat they barely understood. Others, however, regarded humanity as something almost divine. The idea of evolving beyond the physical realm sparked reverence. To them, humans had achieved a form of immortality, a final enlightenment that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Debates tore the council apart. Alliances fractured as factions argued whether to confront or worship this new cosmic force. Could humanity be stopped? Should they be feared? Or was this evolution a glimpse into the future for all species?
As the galaxy teetered on the edge of conflict, the true mystery remained locked in silence. Humanity's final legacy was a riddle wrapped in shadows, a challenge and a warning intertwined. Vaynol stood at the center of it all, carrying the burden of knowledge that could ignite war or inspire peace. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. In the days that followed, Vaynol became a figure both revered and reviled. To some, she was a hero, the bridge between species, the keeper of humanity's eternal flame. To others, she was a reckless fool, a trigger for chaos that had unleashed a power no one could control. She wrestled with the heavy mantle thrust upon her. The eyes of countless worlds watched her every move. Every decision carried the weight of a legacy far greater than herself. She questioned whether she was ready to lead, to be the face of a transformation she barely understood. Inside, Vaynol fought doubt and fear. Could she honor humanity's true spirit, its unyielding curiosity and hope, without being consumed by the galactic storm she had helped ignite? Yet, beneath the turmoil, a fierce determination grew. If she was to carry humanity's torch, she would do so with all the strength and courage they had shown in their final moments. She would protect their secret and guide the galaxy toward its next step. Her role was clear, not just a leader, but a guardian of possibility. As days slipped into nights, strange things began to happen aboard the ship. Flickers of light where none should be, whispers on static channels, a subtle warmth in the air, almost like a presence. Vaynol couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was still here, not in flesh, but as something beyond, watching, waiting, guiding from the shadows of the universe. Her connection to the AI, once a source of fear, now felt like a tether to a greater truth. She saw patterns where others saw chaos, signs that the transcendence of humanity was ongoing, not a closed chapter, but a living mystery. It was as if humanity's consciousness had scattered across the stars, an unseen force nudging the galaxy forward. Her conviction deepened. Humanity had not vanished. They had become something eternal, their spirit woven into the fabric of existence. And perhaps, just perhaps, they were watching her.
With her newfound purpose burning bright, Vaynol embarked on a secret quest. Publicly, she remained a diplomat and leader. Privately, she chased whispers, anomalies in star charts, encoded fragments in ancient data, mysterious signals pulsing faintly in the void. Her obsession grew, driven by a hope that humanity's story was not finished, that somewhere beyond the veil lay the next message, an invitation, a guide, a spark to ignite evolution anew. She assembled a trusted team, skilled in decoding, exploration, and diplomacy. Together, they sifted through cosmic noise, piecing together humanity's hidden footprints. Every discovery deepened the mystery and raised new questions. What was humanity's true purpose? Had they left behind a cosmic roadmap? Were they calling others to join them in transcendence? For Vaynol, the mission became more than science. It was a sacred trust. To honor humanity's legacy meant to embrace the unknown, to chase the impossible.
And the universe waited. In the deepest, coldest stretch of space, where light barely dares to reach, a forgotten system drifts silently. Its planets, once vibrant with life, now lie barren, desolate husks circling a weary star. Moons, cracked and lifeless, cast long shadows across empty craters, whispering secrets of a vanished past. But amid this stillness, something stirs. A faint pulse of light flickers within a colossal structure, a moon-sized ship, a relic of an ancient age, abandoned by its creators long ago. Its metal hull, scarred by eons, begins to hum. Inside, dormant circuits awaken. Gears turn, systems flicker to life. It is as if the ship itself breathes after a timeless slumber. No one knows why it stirs now. Was it waiting for this moment? For a signal? For the right time to awaken? The darkness watches silently as the ship's light pulses, a fragile spark against the void, signaling that something forgotten is waking, something waiting to return. From the depths of the silent expanse, the flickering light is joined by a voice, soft, distant, yet ancient. They've remembered us, time to remember them. The words drift through space like a ghost's breath, neither fully human nor alien. It is a voice shaped by time itself, an echo from forgotten epochs, familiar yet mysterious. It carries weight of history, of warning, of hope. The voice stirs something deep within those who hear it, a shiver of excitement mixed with unease. Who is speaking? What does this message mean? Across star systems, eyes turn skyward, ships halt their course, minds race to decipher the cryptic message. Is it a call to arms, a plea for remembrance, or a herald of something far greater? The galaxy holds its breath, waiting for the meaning hidden in the whisper. As the echo of the voice fades into the cold silence, the vast emptiness of space expands before us. The ancient ship remains aglow, a lone beacon in the darkness, signaling a return long thought impossible. The message lingers, unanswered and heavy. Humanity's fate is no longer sealed. The past's shadows give way to a fragile hope. But what form will humanity take upon its return? Will they emerge as the tenacious, inventive species known for bending survival into art? Or will they rise transformed, shaped by cosmic forces beyond mortal understanding? The unknown stretches infinitely. Questions multiply like stars. Will humanity reclaim its place in the universe? Or become something new, a mystery even to themselves? The galaxy watches in silent anticipation, caught between fear and awe, as the story of humanity's next chapter waits to be written. The screen darkens. The only light left is the soft, steady flicker from the ancient ship, like a distant star guiding the way into the void. The voice's final words echo softly, lingering like a promise. They've remembered us, time to remember them. The future is uncertain, shrouded in mystery and potential, but one truth stands clear. The tale of humanity is far from over. As the galaxy waits, The universe holds its breath. A new era begins.